Welcome to my review of the 2005 LEGO Star Wars JEDI Starfighter and Vulture Droid, set number 7256 with 202 pieces, and it originally sold for $20, which was a great price back in 2005. Felt super affordable as a kid, and obviously getting two spaceships in one was great. I had two of these sets as a kid. It was awesome. I loved it. It's got some all-time great box art with that orange LEGO Star Wars logo, the Darth Vader in flames on the top right, and it's been a long time since I've just stared at this box, but you can notice a lot of details when you really look at the front of this box. You can see Obi-Wan's Starfighter hidden a little bit behind Anakin's Starfighter. There's a Venator off in the distance, and perhaps the biggest quirk on this box is the fact that Anakin's Starfighter casts a shadow on the laser below its wing. That's like insanely illogical, but it's just a weird quirk of 2005 box art, isn't it? I never realized this. On the top of the box, it shows Anakin standing on Mustafar. That's kind of interesting, obviously, given this set is very Coruscant based. And then on the back of the box, it shows off the main features and functions of Anakin Starfighter and the Vulture Droid's ability to land. It also shows some very odd alternate models that I definitely will not be building, and it shows the 2004 LEGO Star Wars Original Trilogy selection, which is kind of a shame because it would have been really cool to have the Revenge of the Sith sets there, wouldn't it? Oh, and I totally forgot earlier, it's been 20 years since the set released. If you want one of them sealed in box today, you're looking at about $250, so not the good old 20 bucks that it used to be. Now, let's get into a very nostalgic unboxing. Cutting into the set, like I said, truly nostalgic feeling here, and pulling out the contents. Inside, you've got your instruction manual. Pretty standard instruction manual, just kind of odd at the back. It's got a picture of the box art for the TIE Fighter as an ad for the TIE Fighter, and then on the very back, it's got an ad for the 2005 LEGO Star Wars video game. Pretty amazing there. You've also got a very large sticker sheet for a set this small. I don't remember it being this big, but it's definitely that big. And then we've got 4 different bags of parts, not numbered or anything, but 4 bags of parts. When it comes to minifigs in this one, we've just got one, or technically 1.25 if you're going to count R2-D2's head, because it's just the head, no body or legs for the astromech droid, which for the time I think was perfectly acceptable. Certainly times have changed, and modern Jedi starfighters include the body and legs, and it actually can fit inside of the ship, but we'll discuss that a little bit more later. Anyway, as it pertains to Anakin, the hairpiece for the time worked well. Definitely not the greatest hairpiece for an Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith, though. It looks a little girly to me. The face print, though, I think is fantastic, as they've got his scars represented, as well as the headset, which is dope to see for such an early LEGO Star Wars set. You've got a pretty simple torso print, no leg printing, no arm printing, but you do have a chrome lightsaber hilt, so there's that. Overall, it's a nice classic LEGO Star Wars figure, something that obviously is not as good as what they could do today, but for the time, it was the best they had done to that point, and it still stands as a very nice classic LEGO Star Wars minifig, in my opinion. Starting with the Vulture Droid build in its sleekest form here, I'm a really big fan of this 2005 version. I think it's a solid upgrade from the original 1999 version, and I think the versions that came out after 2007, 2009 were certainly better, but this was a really big upgrade to me because it did a couple of things, plus the color is super nice. Love that sand blue, dark blue, a little bit of dark gray for the color scheme on this Vulture Droid. Absolutely not a fan of the 2014 kind of larger version or the Hyena Droid Bomber. Like, I love this smaller size. So there's something about that I really love. Now, like I said, this is its sleek version, so the wings are kind of combined here. You do have some stickers on the side. You've also got a sticker for the eyes on the Vulture Droid, which I think looks really good. That red pops well. You've got the Separatist logo on the back of that. It is important, in my opinion, that you line up these stickers very nicely because they do have some continuous design that's just important to have be lined up. Like, otherwise it's going to look awkward. Then you've got a couple more stickers kind of on the main body of the Vulture Droid there. So overall, I think the stickers add a lot of detail that's important. Would it have been nice to be printed? Sure, but yeah, the stickers definitely get the job done, in my opinion. Now, let's take a look at the first feature, and that's going to be opening up these wings kind of into an attack position. And so you just kind of pull them off, and then you're going to place them higher up, and I guess on the bottom section lower down, so it kind of opens them up. And I think the Vulture Droid looks far better in this position, by the way, than it does with them closed up in the sleeker orientation. So you can do it like that, and then you can also remove the Vulture Droid head. It's just attached with a Technic pin at the back, so you can take the head off, and then you're just going to attach it with normal studs onto the top of the body. And so you really only want to do that when you're going to be landing the Vulture Droid, so you can actually take those wings and spin them down, and then the Vulture Droid actually stands up like that. Really really cool. Like for a small build from 2005, it does a lot of stuff, a lot more than you might expect. So you can have it stand on its own, and then the wings actually can fold in a little bit. The 1989 version didn't do that, and so it looks a lot less rigid when you fold them in just a little bit. I love that as well. Zooming in a bit here, you can get a really good idea of how that's going to work. So I think that piece works great, like really fantastic for 2005 there. If you look at the back, you've got a little engine thrust, obviously, with the translucent red. And then inside of the wings, we've also got a little bit more translucent red, and that is supposed to be kind of the main blasters for the Vulture droid. So I think for a 2005 build, this thing is awesome. I love it. Should go without saying, but this is obviously going to be a very swooshable build, and because it's made of so few pieces, it's not something that as a kid is playing with it, you really have to worry about. Like if it breaks, okay, one piece broke off, put it back on, not a big deal, you know? So I think as a toy too, it was very good for its time. So I love it. It might not be the best Vulture droid Lego Star Wars has ever made, because I think they've got a couple versions that were just more like incremental improvements on this. It's probably my favorite. Now, I don't think I would say this Anakin Starfighter is my favorite. Like, the nostalgia only goes so far, in my opinion. It's still really nice, but they have made versions of this that are so much better than this. Like, the versions that I believe are better than this are, like I said, incremental improvements. This has seen kind of big leaps to make better versions in 2014 and 2020 for his yellow Starfighter. But this is still nice, again, for the time, 2005, very classic build, and I love it. It's definitely a style. A lot of the details are very well represented for its time, though. Some of the stickers adding some gray detail onto the yellow on the very front of the wing. You've also got the printed Republic logo. You don't get printed parts like that anymore. Nowadays, it's going to be a sticker, so great quality for 2005 for a $20 set. Pretty insane that it's just a great print there. You got the main laser cannons at the front as well, which I love the translucent blue on. think they look great. You've also got kind of these side cannons, I believe, which I always, as a kid, these would fall off so easy. I lost them. They just basically did. I didn't even realize. It took me years of owning this set, and I finally was like, oh yeah, those pieces are supposed to be there. And I remember like digging through the bin trying to find them, couldn't find them. So kind of oddly enough, to me personally, this is basically what I consider to be the normal look of the Anakin Starfighter from 2005, just without these extra pieces, because they would just always fall off. That brings us back to the R2-D2 head that I mentioned earlier, and like I said, it's not going to swivel. You don't get the whole body and legs. It doesn't fit into the wing, which does make for a sleeker wing design, as you don't have to have that bucket basically that sits underneath the wing to hold R2. So there is a pro to that, certainly. I actually prefer the look of this because of that, and it also allows you to have landing gear, which we'll get to. But yeah, the head is nice, but yeah, it's not going to swivel or anything. Maybe they could have at least put it on a swivel piece so he could spin around, but it doesn't do anything. It just sits there, which is nice. The detail's there, but the functionality's not. Looking further back, we've got these kind of Dorito-shaped wings or fins, and you just kind of lift them away from the body of the ship. You do the top ones, and then to do the bottom ones, of course, you have to have the ship lifted off the ground. But I think as long as you angle them correctly, it looks amazing in this orientation. Like with the landing gear up, the wings are out, like it looks really awesome. Now, obviously as a kid and just seeing like how people that don't know how it's supposed to go, like you'll see like eBay listings sometimes where the wings are like this, it just looks silly. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? But if you got it set up correctly, it can look very, very nice. Inside of each of the panels, we've got a very accurate gray sticker design, which is nice to have. Again, that's going to be on all four of them. Looking a little further back, we've got another printed piece that is going to appear on both sides of the set. Just crazy. Printed pieces, no stickers there. The canopy piece is also printed, super accurate design, pretty insane for 2005. This piece has aged very well. They've recently changed it in 2025. I don't think the new one is as good. I think this really did peak in 2005, and it's pretty insane that that's the case. You've got the very front of the windscreen there with another great kind of TIE fighter type of print, it looks like, but you know, very accurate again to episode 3. So I think they did a great job with a lot of the details on this set for 2005. Like it looks amazing. I also kind of skimmed over the engine detail, and then you've also got the landing gear. So this back piece of landing gear is kind of odd, where you got to drop it down a couple and then drop out the actual foot. Just a little awkward. But the front section is much more normal feeling, where you'll just drop these down a couple notches and then drop the feet out. I guess it's kind of the same thing in the opposite direction. But anyway, with its landing gear, it sits really well. Looking at its side profile, it just looks great. And it's one of the few LEGO Star Wars Jedi Starfighters that has had landing gear like this. So that's a huge plus in my opinion. Now looking at the cockpit here and lifting away this windscreen piece, it's actually a much more accurate function than we're seeing in 2025 now, as you are supposed to leave that front glass behind. Now, I don't love the attachment of the front glass piece because it is something that can get easily dislodged and fall off, as you can see. It does have a good connection. It's just hard to get it to stay for some reason. And then there's the downside of landing gear. It can collapse in on itself. That's something that doesn't happen with the modern version. So again, it's a lot of give and take with stuff like that. On the inside, you're going to find a little joystick for him to pilot it with, and then you've also got a couple of stickers for some extra detail for control panels, which it really would have been nice to have printed, I guess, considering how much else is printed on this set, but the stickers are acceptable in my opinion. You can hardly even tell they're stickers. I had to really look at them to remember if they were stickers or not. But we've got the single classic Lego style seat for Anakin to sit inside of. You just place him down there and he's good to go. Well, the other biggest downside to me is that there isn't really a spot for his lightsaber. There's no clip anywhere. So as a kid, I would always just kind of place it behind him, which works. Like that, maybe that is the spot for it, I guess. Maybe that is the spot because it's clearly enough space and it's kind of like cut out for the lightsaber to sit in a little bit, just like that. And it's not going to like fall out because the engines are holding it in. So you close that up and it's hidden back there. So I guess that works. You know, it's not a little clip on the underside or anything. You don't have that like you do on a lot of the modern versions, but I feel like that's perfectly acceptable as well as a storage section. Having just experienced this one fresh again, I am so glad it was part of my childhood. The Vulture Droid's awesome. The Starfighter is awesome. And at the time for $20, what an insane value for 2 ships and 1. Really the only downside I think would be only having 1 minifigure and not the complete R2-D2. I don't really recall being hung up on it as a kid, but I bet it would have been nicer to have the full figure than not, you know? So I love this set. It's basically perfection to me. Definitely some rose-tinted goggles there, but I mean, I love it. And I wish they would do more affordable type of 2-in-1 sets like this today, but it also feels kind of impossible with how their building standards have gotten, that like the builds have to have so many pieces to be as strong and nice as they are that you can't even make it so cheap anymore because you're not just using like simple plates and bricks. It's gotten so complex. So there's a bit of an issue there too. But that is my review of the 2005 Lego Star Wars Jedi Starfighter and Vulture Droid. If you enjoyed, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section below, and you can check out more 2005 Lego Star Wars reviews on the end screen now.